We are live. Episode number 135. Welcome to Hot Shot Secret Live. My name is Josh Steinmetz, and I have with me this week Chad McKinney.
Hello.
So let's talk a little bit about LX4. So LX4 was basically formulated for the fact that we wanted to go out and basically make the best lubricity fuel additive on the market. You know, EDT has all its great benefits. It had lubricity in it, but we wanted to basically make our mark that, hey, we can have the best one on the market. We came across some great components, searched the world to find this technology, brought it in, perfected it. And the other reason for that was, at the same time, all these CP4 pumps were having such issues with wearing out, and the common factor we found out was lubricity and fuel. So given all those items, we just said, hey, let's bring this to market. We did. And after that, what did we do? We added it right into EDT. Same cost, didn't increase the cost of it at all. So we got this great lubricity agent. And you might say, well, why a lubricity only agent? You know.
Right, we get that question a lot.
We get it a lot. The reason for that is some guys just don't believe in fuel additives, but they know lubricity is important. So we made an option for a guy that wants, you know, something for their truck. The other thing is it's gas and diesel.
Right.
So it's a great upper cylinder lube. A lot of guys getting extra fuel economy from that upper cylinder lube. We get the question sometimes, well, can I use it like every other tank, or why can't I use it like every 5,000-6,000 miles like I do some of your other products? Well, answer is we're actually changing the lubricity of the fuel that's in the tank itself. We just can't add lubricity and have it stick to the lines and everything in the system. That doesn't work that way. The fuel itself is acting as the lubricant. So we have to treat the fuel to actually add lubricity into the fuel itself before we can make any change to it. So we have to do it every tank. So I think the other question is, can you add EDT and LX4 together?
Yeah, I mean, you could, but the EDT already has the LX4 in it. I mean, do you get more lubricity by adding the LX4? I mean, that's another question we get.
Yeah, you do. So we actually add lubricity on top of it. So there is a point where we get diminishing returns. It's pretty optimized. Now, you can add, say you're using the 1 ounce per 25 gallons of EDT, and then you could add an ounce for every 10 gallons of LX4, which is the treatment rate for that. On top of that, you'd bring that lubricity, bring that wear scar down, and increase the lubricity across the entire spectrum. I don't think you'd be over treating at that point at all. And even if you're using the 2 ounce per 25 gallons for EDT, you still would not be really on that point of too much lubricity. Now, we got some people out there that tell us they put tons in. You know, at that point you are going to start losing that lubricity gain you can get, just because the way everything works, it's not a linear or a straight line. It's, you know, there's some, the chemistry can only work so well with everything to an extent. Yeah, Chris decided to walk in.
Yeah.
So what do you know, Chris?
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
LX4,
Yeah.
talking about lubricity.
Anything else going on this week?
Oh, we talked about lots of stuff. We got Kyle down in Tennessee at the event for the gas versus diesel drag race.
When's it start?
It starts Friday. Yeah.
What's he doing down there now? He's
Slacker. Slacker. That's what I told him. He's slacking. And you're on Steve Summers' show.
That's
early
right.
this morning.
Summers tonight at midnight. So anybody that is a person that can't sleep at night, jump on and you'll be able to pick me up from midnight till 5 tonight.
Lots of coffee, right?
Lots of coffee unless you fall asleep at 3, and then Steve will just take over and pretend like I'm still there.
Well, I'm going to answer Alan's question a bit more, since he wanted to know about gas. We got a minute. Let's talk about it. So on gasoline side, we can run our stiction eliminator just like we do on diesel. Still the same treatment rate, 4 ounces per quart of oil, replaces an equal amount of oil in the engine. Run it for the entire oil change cycle. Like to do it from the very get-go, so do a fresh oil change, replace part of the oil with the stiction eliminator, run it your normal oil change cycle. If it's 3,000, 5,000, 7,000, whatever you normally run, do it, change the oil again. This time we can put FR3 in there. FR3, got our nano lubricant in there, just like we do with the stiction eliminator. So the stiction eliminator is actually going to clean up everything in the oil. In a gas engine, if it's a turbocharger, we're going to clean up in the turbocharger. If not, we're still going to clean up in the rings, all the small crevices in the motor itself, any burn up oil or stiction. And then from, like I said, second oil change, we can actually go with FR3. It's a little bit cheaper for you. We're adding the protection of not only wear protection, but also to help stiction from forming in the first place.
And the more efficient the engine, the more likely you've got stiction in there. So if you're working with an engine that's getting 40 to 45 miles per gallon, there's about a 90% better chance of you having stiction in there. If it's got over 100,000 miles on it, there's a 90% chance of stiction in there. If it's one of the fuel systems that shuts down half of the cylinders when you get on the freeway, there's a really good chance of stiction in there, because once those half of the cylinders shut down, like a 4-cylinder shut down when they don't need the power, that oil just sits in there and bakes, because now we're not pumping oil through there, it's not moving. So that's the same problem with the turbochargers. And the oil gets in the turbo, then you shut the car down, and it just sizzles in there at 800 degrees. So the oil's going to bake out at around 280. So there's always going to be stiction inside a turbo bearing, and we're going to clean that out with just one treatment.
I actually got a question here on YouTube as well. Want to know about any harm with starting to use your products on a new vehicle. So we always recommend starting after 10,000 miles. We want the rings and so forth to get broke into the regular oil, but from there we're going to reduce the wear, as you were saying.
Correct. We're going to reduce the wear, increase the horsepower. We don't have extensive testing on new vehicles as far as increasing horsepower and fuel economy, but we know we're affecting the surface treatment, because the nanocarbons are plating everything inside there, and the esters are creating a synthetic oil or semi-synthetic oil with your oil, giving you a better product to run down the road with.
Wow. So I hope that helps with the gas side. One other question for you, Chris, is how tall are you? That was the one.
I'm 6'4". So,
Yeah, when you stand
I bump my head a lot.
up.